Abraham Clark, a distinguished member of the Second Continental Congress and signer of the Declaration of Independence, was born on February 15, 1726, in Elizabethtown, New Jersey. His farm was located on Wheat Sheaf Road in what is now the borough of Roselle, just southwest of the Wheat Sheaf Tavern. His land straddled both sides of St. George's Avenue in the Wheat Sheaf section of Roselle and the Wheat Shed section of Linden. He, by our account, was the most important national figure from Elizabethtown who settled in what would later become the township of Linden. He was a studious man, mostly self-taught, although he did receive some formal education. Not technically a lawyer, he was known to be a barrister to the poor. He was a farmer, surveyor, and served several posts as a public official. His earliest service in New Jersey state politics was as a clerk to the Colonial New Jersey legislature from 1752 to 1766, and the highest office Clark had served was as a representative from New Jersey to the U.S. House of Representatives. He held the seat from 1791 until his death on September 15, 1794, at the age of 68. He was known to be a leading example of integrity, often referred to as the uncorruptible Abraham Clark by his counterparts in both New Jersey and national politics. Clark was a religious, family-oriented man. Married to Sarah Hatfield from another prominent Elizabethtown family in 1749, they had 10 children, 8 of which reached adulthood. He was said by his children to have been a strong father figure. Clark, although coming from a well-respected family, did not grow up wealthy, nor did Sarah, but through hard work and resourcefulness, the couple built a large estate. He was in correspondence with most of the other colonial congressmen and military men alike. Since the defense of New Jersey was of grave importance to himself and loved ones, and the front line of the Arthur Kill was pivotal in the overall war effort, he became one of the most important forgotten founders. He was a staunch patriot, oddly related by marriage to one of the most notorious loyalists, Cornelius Hatfield, whose main property was located in what would now be the Bayway section of Linden City. During the war, much of the Clark's property would remain fallow as his sons fought for the Continentals and then subsequently were captured by the British. He, as any father, would try to levy for his son's release through correspondence with the British command, as one of his sons was captured and held in Pennsylvania while the other was located on a prison ship Jersey in New York Harbor. He received this chilling reply: "Mr. Clark, your treasonous subversion against the crown as a proponent of colonial independence has rendered your status and rights as an Englishman null. You are therefore a fugitive from the law, and until you recant of your treason and disavow your cause of independence, to provide further incentive, your son, Captain Thomas Clark of the Continental Artillery Regiment, remains in the custody of the 14th Regiment of Foot in the colony of Pennsylvania. He is in good health, but will remain imprisoned until your personal revocation of the Declaration of Independence is received." His sons, Captain Thomas Clark and Captain Aaron Clark, fighters from the Wheat Sheaf neighborhood, both ended up on the prison ship Jersey off Manhattan Island, and they were not released until the final prisoner exchange at the end of the war. There have been many quotes remembered from the founders. One such from Clark embodies duty and sacrifice that still relates well today to the confident yet humble people of Linden and Roselle. "As to my title, I know not yet whether it will be honorable or dishonorable. The issue of the war must settle it. Perhaps our Congress will be exalted on high gallows." Abraham Clark, Wheat Sheaf resident, signer of the Declaration of Independence. In 1787, while a member of the New Jersey state legislature, Clark represented the state during the writing and ratification of the Constitution. He had serious reservations about the first draft of the document, and he was a leader in the fight for the addition of the Bill of Rights. As the patriarch of a family that had sacrificed so much for the cause, he felt it would be all in vain if the Bill of Rights, outlaying the individual freedoms of each citizen, independent of the whims of government legislation, was not secured. Article 9 secures the Bill of Rights from being skirted through further legislation without first repealing the amendment through a substantial process in which the federal and state governments are ultimately involved. This man from Elizabethtown, from what would become the township of Rahway, then the township and borough of Linden, finally the city of Linden, borough of Roselle, and village of Winfield Park, was one of the major fighters whom saw the promise of a land of the free through to the end, earning his uncorruptible reputation as being a political figure and leader most of his adult life. He could have maintained great power in the new country for a few which he had belonged to. Rather, quite nobly pressed for the inclusion of the common man. The common citizen this uncommon man had counted himself among, in a tradition Lindenites maintain to this very day. Abraham Clark passed in 1794 of sunstroke inflicted while watching a bridge being built on his farm. His person largely forgotten, but his actions and example live on with us.